Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a good Monday afternoon. Wanted to take a moment because we are introducing a brand new streaming segment here from the 1011 Now streaming studio, the Consumer Safety Spotlight. This is something that we're going to hope to bring you every Monday at 2 p.m. and we're going to talk with the Better Business Bureau, Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau, and he's going to kind of break down some of the latest things that we're keeping an eye on within the state. Also, maybe some money tips and things like that. So every Monday at 2 o'clock, you want to look for this segment. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here, and we're going to go ahead and bring in Josh. Josh, how are you doing this Monday afternoon?
Doing great, Bill. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so I mean, this is our first kind of segment together. So again, I kind of talked a little bit about it, but break it down from your end. What are you looking to do here as we meet every Monday at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, so there's a wide variety of conversations I think that are worth having about consumer protection. Namely that fraud is a billion-dollar industry many times over, and those tactics change day to day, but the core of each remains a plot to steal your personal and payment information. But there is a lot to be on the lookout for, whether it be fraud, whether it be consumer best practices. And the hope, right, is that we can provide you with the tools necessary to make the best decision for you and your family and perhaps your business.
Absolutely, 100%. Unfortunately, we see all too many headlines of someone losing money from some nefarious thing or whatever it might be. So again, hopefully, Mondays at 2 o'clock, we're going to kind of give you maybe some helpful information. So Josh, this week we had kind of talked. Last week and this weekend, talked about what we kind of wanted to start off with, and you had mentioned, kind of just starting off with what we've seen so far, kind of through the first half of the year, in terms of what have been the most prevalent things that you guys have noticed at the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, a trio of scams has really been a cut above the rest of the field in terms of the popularity and the devastation incurred. At least with regard to Nebraska for the first 6 months of 2023. Those scams were online purchase, employment, and phishing. And this is really a mirror into society, right? I mean, last year, e-commerce sales topped $1 trillion, which was an all-time record. There were 3 times as many remote work opportunities in 2022 as there were in 2020. And at no point in human history has more of our information been stored and available online. So these figures really tell us the story of, yes, fraudulent activity and things to be concerned about, or at least, with regard to having your guard up in Nebraska. But it also tells us quite a bit about our societal evolution overall.
And so, especially the online stuff, again, you feel like most people know, hey, if this pop-up window pops up or something, I probably shouldn't put my information in there. But again, people fall victim to this stuff all the time. So again, with some of those top 3 things, I guess, what are the guardrails that you would kind of suggest people just to kind of know about and to be aware of, and maybe what are some resources for them to kind of, stay on top of this?
So with online purchase scams, these have been the riskiest scam type that we have monitored at the BBB level between the ages of 35 and 64. There are a few ways, I think, to avoid these types of scams in general. First, we've been saying it for centuries. If the deal looks too good to be true, it probably is. The carrot is almost always a cut rate discount or a price you can't get anywhere else. There's a reason for that. And you should know what the market value is of the resource or the good that you are searching for online. And if it deviates, by 75%, 100%, that's something to be on the lookout for and reason to, tread carefully. We would, of course, encourage folks to research companies on bbb.org before you provide any sort of payment information or trust within that organization. So many of these companies originated overnight. They don't have a BBB profile. They don't have contact information. All of that, presumably, you would want to know before you provided any sort of payment or personal information to the company. And then, as always, using secure and traceable modes of payment is always going to be in your best interest. There is a reason why scammers are asking you to pay for things with cryptocurrency or peer-to-peer payment methods. It's because once that money is spent, it's almost certainly never coming back. So they're not backed by collateral like you'd find on a credit card. There's a reason for that. So anytime, non-traditional payment methods are being requested for any sort of good or service, that should put you on edge and maybe, at least have you thinking about possibly walking away from the transaction entirely.
And one thing you said there, Josh, kind of jumps out at me, and you know, maybe, you know, law enforcement might be almost the better people to talk to about this, but like you said, once the money's gone out of your pocket, the chances of you getting it back and getting that money back in your bank account, pretty slim.
Yeah, I mean, with peer-to-peer payment methods, I mean, it's almost at the root of the industry entirely. You're authorizing that transaction anytime you are sending it to a different number. And even if you've been duped, you have authorized that payment. There are so many stories of folks being scammed and so few about those folks ever seeing that money again. Of course, you know, each of these organizations is doing the best that they can to combat fraudulent activity, to combat scammers, to ensure that folks who are using their platform with good intentions are being rewarded or at least being protected. But the reality is, I think a lot of times that payment is never seen from or heard from again. And that's a very unfortunate situation that I think a lot of folks are unfortunately learning right now.
Yeah, so again, got to kind of get out ahead of it before the payment goes out the door. Josh, you guys have an event coming up here, I believe a week and a half or so, here in Lincoln. Can you tell us a little bit about this event, June 14th at Southeast Community College?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. From 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. at SCC's Jack J. Huck Continuing Education Center, which is around 70th and O Streets. The BBB, AARP Nebraska, and the Nebraska Alzheimer's Association are teaming up to host what we are calling a holistic wellness event that impacts both your brain and your wallet. You'll have researchers from UNMC and UNL there. Aging Partners will be there. The BBB will be there. We will present on the latest local scam reports and provide essential consumer protection best practices, much like what we are discussing today. It's completely free. You even get breakfast, and you can find that information available at bbbinc.org. We would love to see you there. Absolutely,
100%. And so again, moving forward, Josh, again, we're going to kind of have, hopefully, you know, kind of a new topic every week to kind of touch on. We had mentioned maybe doing something about like hotel booking and vacations and things like that. I guess, again, not to put you on the spot here, but kind of what, just so viewers can kind of maybe get an idea of what to maybe expect from this segment, again, kind of moving forward. What are some ideas that maybe you've been kind of kicking around here over the past few days for topics for our segment?
Yeah, there are any number of things that we are planning, whether it's a home remodel, whether it's a vacation, whether it's you know, signing up for a new opportunity, a new employment position online. You know, all of these things have best practices to them. And I don't think, frankly, a lot of it is discussed until it's too late, until it's after the fact. So our goal, right, is to provide some sort of guardrails for navigating this terrain, which can be complicated and also dangerous depending on, you know, what it is that we're discussing, what dollar amounts are involved. But, you know, that's where, you know, the BBB has existed for more than a century, is to help connect consumers with trustworthy businesses and best practices. And so there's any number of conversations to have, and I'm just looking forward to getting started.
Awesome. I absolutely am too, Josh. Again, here is kind of our nice flyer that Josh and the Better Business Bureau was able to kind of put together for us. So again, look for this segment again Mondays at 2 o'clock. Again, we're live on all of 1011's platforms. So again, on our live stream on the website, the news app. Again, if you have Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, we're live there. We're also live on our YouTube channel right now as well. Again, after the fact, Josh, we're going to have this segment clipped and posted online. So again, you can find the latest information of what we talked about every week on 1011now.com, and I'm sure you guys will likely share all that information on all of your channels as well. So anything else kind of before we kind of wrap up this first segment that you want to get in there, or maybe talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Just it's okay to, you know, pursue your passions online. I know anytime we talk scam prevention and awareness, folks, you know, understandably get a little nervous, get a little scared. This is not to scare you from pursuing your passions or engaging in e-commerce. It's really to shed some light on what it is that we're seeing and some ways that you can have, you know, the best, safest possible experience online.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Josh. Again, this is Bill Rentschler and at the 1011 Now streaming studio, along with Josh Planos from the Better Business Bureau. Again, said it a couple times now, but every Monday at 2, again, you'll see us hop on here on our live stream, kind of talking about what the latest things to watch out for, or, you know, if you're looking for, you know, vacation rentals, things like that, all sorts of good stuff, money tips. We'll have all that information for you at Mondays at 2. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching this sort of inaugural stream that we've been doing. Hope everyone has a nice Monday afternoon, and we'll see you next week.